Welcome to the second video about designing and drawing gears. We're now going to be drawing gears in SketchUp, and I'm going to be using a gear plugin which I've downloaded from the internet. So here we go. Within SketchUp, to draw the gears, the plugin is under Draw, and it's given me two of them. One's called an involute gear, and the second one is key involute gear. We're going to start off with involute gear, and when I click on involute gear, it's going to give me these parameters. So the number of teeth, the pressure angle, and the pitch radius. Then all of these are very familiar from the previous video. Number of teeth, so number of teeth. The pressure angle is the contact angle, and the pitch radius is the diameter, or ends up being the diameter of the gear itself. So we're going to start off with what they've given us. The default, which is 9, pressure angle 25, and pitch radius of 20. Click OK. There's my gear, and you can see here that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teeth. So we have 9 teeth on this particular gear with our pressure angle of 20. Now, to see the difference between what these different parameters mean, it's going to go back to Draw, and we're going to go back to involute gear. I'm going to change some of these parameters. So let's double the number of teeth. We're going to alter the pressure angle to let's go all the way down to 14.5, and the pitch radius, we're going to double that to, or we'll add on another 10, so it'll make that really 30, and you'll get to see what the difference is. So that you can see that there's quite a bit of difference between these two gears. This is our original gear here. This is the second gear around the outside. So you can see that we have double the amount of teeth. The contact angle is also different as compared to this one here, and that the diameter of the gear itself is greatly increased. So you can kind of get the idea of how to alter and change these parameters. Although we have the gear, what this is lacking, it is lacking the central shaft hole in the middle, which obviously we could probably find the middle and put a hole in it, but it's not as easy. Well, there's an easy way of doing it, which is basically to use this drawing tool here, which is called the key involute gear. So I'm going to click on the key involute gear, and the key involute gear is going to give us many of the same parameters, but a few new ones. So we've got the number of teeth, 18. So it's remembered those first three parameters, 18, 14.5, the pitch radius of 30, but it's given us these new ones, which is the shaft radius, which is the central shaft in the middle, and then it's added these things on, which is called a keyway width and a keyway depth. And so I'm just going to click OK, and you can kind of see what these things are. So there is the gear that we had beforehand, the same number of teeth, pitch, angle, and radius or diameter, but now it's added this piece in the middle. This is the shaft radius here, and then this bit on the side is the keyway. Now, a keyway allows for the shaft to have a piece sticking up, which will interact with this section here, which will give a much more positive drive, but is not always necessary if we're going to be depending on the application of the gear. So, but what this does give us is the central shaft directly in the middle. We don't always need to have this keyway. So I'm going to file We'll undo that gear, and we're just going to go back to a draw, and we'll go back to key and blue gear. I want to keep the same all the parameters, but I'm going to get rid of the keyway because I don't really want the keyway. So I'm going to get rid of the keyway width. I'm going to set that to 0, set the keyway depth to 0, click OK, and now it's given me my gear with the hole in the middle, or at least it's marked out. As long as there's a line there, the laser or the plasma cutter will recognize the line, and it'll cut that particular circle out. Okay, so last thing you're going to do is, once you have your gear designed, what do you do with it? So you're going to need to ideally save this file or export it. So obviously you can save it as a regular SketchUp file and move it around as and when, or if you're going to be using it either in the plasma or the laser, you can export it as a 2D graphic, not a 3D model. So these are going to be 2D objects. And under here you can obviously save it as, and you can save it as a JPEG or all these other files. But the one we're going to would like you to use is this DXF file. You're just going to type in gear DXF file, and you can go ahead and export it. And it exports it as 2DX. Click OK. There you go.